Tuesday. All right, guys.
Cobras.
Hope you're ready for this one. Been waiting on this moment my whole life.
This Tuesday specifically?
This Tuesday specifically.
Yeah.
For reasons I don't know yet. I think it's going to happen.
You'll find out.
When I leave the studio. I do want to say this. I watched a short documentary last night on like kind of the times of the 60s and 70s. And they legitimately said that during that time period, there were people that roamed around in dancing gangs. Like, if you've ever seen the movie Step Up, and any 9 of the Step Up movies, Step Up 1, Step Up 2, Take It to the Streets, Step Up 3, hey, we're in the streets again, and then Step Up 4, as we all know, hey, let's go back to the streets one more time. But they just battle each other in their crews, and I thought this was something that never occurred. Like, I thought this was a made-up phenomenon. You know, it's like on Pitch Perfect. People aren't just walking around sing battling each other. Like, I'm not walking outside. I'm not, no, I see people out there, homeless people literally fist fighting in the street. I don't see anybody walking up and it's like, bop, bop, oh.
You just got to know
when
where
there's
to
a
go.
problem.
You got to know where to
But
go.
can you imagine? I just, in my mind, they're
Ever been to
talking
East
about
Nashville?
I just cannot imagine being like out or something, especially when you're younger. And it's, you know, something happens, you start, you know, it gets mouthy in between people out, and they're like, instead of being like, all right, meet me outside. You know, like the old way, it's like, assemble your crew and meet me outside. And like, you just go out there and somebody's like spinning on cardboard or something like that. Like, I can't, in my mind, process that being a real thing. But apparently it was a real thing. People were really, instead of fist fighting, like back then before that, you'd fight with your hands. Now they'll just pull out a gun and shoot you. But there was a point in time where you went out there and legitimately dance battled someone. How can anybody take that serious? Like, were girls just loving it? Would you go out there and be in like some White Snake jean jacket, like hitting some you know, Dance Dance Revolution move, and they're like, oh yeah, that's my guy.
I'm trying to forget, like, one of the Step Up movies were good. One of them was, I think, the one with Channing Tatum in it.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one was good. But after that, it was just...
I saw the trailer for Step Up, and I feel like I've seen the whole movie, and even that...
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you ever look at me in the
The first one was good.
The
first one was good.
And say that
a lot of
Step Up
people,
1 is good.
Okay, well, I feel like a poll is just slowly migrating into
I bet you...
I will say this. We're in the
bet
trust
you
tree,
do.
right? We're in the trust tree. I rewatched the Hangover movies, the first 2, this weekend.
Hilarious.
They're good.
Hilarious.
They're good. I have to...
Was there any debate for that? Was that debate?
I hadn't seen them in like 10
Tone
years.
hasn't seen
and I
Benchwarmers.
didn't like... I was like, the first one was
You
okay,
never seen
whatever.
Benchwarmers? You never seen Rena?
That's not true anymore.
You watched it?
Watched it last night.
How good was it?
Rob Schneider, man.
Dude, Rob
hilarious.
Schneider.
And then he ends up being the guy who used to bully kids.
For sure. That little guy. They got that little
Spoiler
dwarf who's in the peanut butter fort. You remember at the end?
Yeah.
Like, get out!
Number
No,
7
dude.
comes and makes some Skittle sandwich.
I don't think I've ever laughed so hard when that dude got into the batter's box with a sword.
Yeah, Nick Swartzen.
I've never
Yeah, that scene when he gets up there, he's afraid of the sun.
And then he gets the bat, and they're like, nah, get the sword again.
Yeah, and he hits him. He's like, ah!
He's like, well, what do you think of the moon?
He's not a fan.
Not a fan.
He eats sunscreen.
Not a fan.
The Saints signed quarterback Derek Carr, speaking about eating sunscreen. Police get called to Bengals running back Joe Mixon's home, and the SEC considers permanent opponents. And we're going to grade them. I'm Jay Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Former Raider quarterback Derek Carr has found his new home in New Orleans after getting a deal worth $150 million with allegedly $100 million guaranteed. And Saints fans are wondering if they are now legit Super Bowl contenders. And I am here to confidently say to all of you today that they are definitely not. Now, don't get me wrong. Being in the NFC South helps. You instantly have the best quarterback. But that's like being the skinniest kid at fat camp. Shout out to Tony Perkins and his father, the Lightning King. Getting Derek Carr is like getting your first actual car. It's way better than your bicycle, and while it still works, it isn't going to be your best car. Now, there is a reason for excitement because it will be better than what Nola has had recently. Hell, it's hard to be worse. But the Saints won't reach the promised land with Derek Carr at the helm. For people saying, oh, well, now he finally has weapons. What the hell do you mean? He had Weapon X in Oakland and Devontae Adams. He had Waller at tight end, Josh Jacobs, who could do multiple things out of the backfield, and Haru, the great white ninja, Hunter Renfrow at wide receiver, who's cooked more full-grown men than Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, weapons have never been a problem for Derek Carr. That's my point. He doesn't come through in the clutch because in 9 years, he has one career playoff game, and he lost it. He cries at press conferences. And to be honest, I don't think he has that dog in him when it counts. The Saints have an older roster that hasn't performed well the past couple seasons. And I get being in win now mode. But this mode will only lead to a possible playoff berth and a definite early exit. The Saints should always be in future Super Bowl mode. But it seems like nobody has time for that in the rat race in the NFL. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn, former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crane, my brother as well. Guys, Saints, you upgraded at quarterback. But there are other holes you have to fill. I mean, you look now at the running back position with Kamara and everything that's gone down there. Mm-hmm. Michael Thomas, even though they restructured, hadn't been able to stay healthy. You have some young pieces. You're older on defense. I just don't think Derek Carr is the guy that's going to take them back to Super Bowl glory or even get to a championship game of any sort.
I think the Saints will make the playoffs with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, no. Super Bowl, no.
As a Saints fan, is that acceptable, though?
Well, you lost a Hall of Fame quarterback and your Super Bowl winning coach in back-to-back seasons, right? Like, is Dennis Allen the guy who's going to lead the Saints to the promised land? I still think no, but look at the division. Just look around at the NFC South right now. I mean, Falcons, new quarterback. Bucks, new quarterback. Panthers, new quarterback and new coach. I mean, the Saints with Derek Carr, he's going to come in and be far more than serviceable to me. An upgrade from Jameis Winston for sure. An upgrade from Andy Dalton, I believe, as well. Chris Olave, I think, is going to be one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Nasty.
Who knows what's going to happen with Michael Thomas? I don't know if the best football days are already behind Michael Thomas or if he can come back in and give, another great season or two. They do need to draft in preparation for something heavy coming down on Alvin Kamara. I don't know if he's going to be able to play football this next season.
Yeah, I think Alvin's in trouble. Blaine, when you look at Derek Carr, again, a guy that can make the throws, but when it comes down to it, he just didn't come through in the clutch. He moves the needle, but not far enough.
Doesn't come in 2015. He's had the most game-winning drives, the most comebacks in the NFL.
And made the playoffs.
No, well, you're saying it twice.
Not coming in clutch. I mean, he's been
twice, 16 and 21.
Yeah, not coming in clutch. He's been one of the clutchest guys out there.
I just could not disagree with that more. How can you not make the playoffs at least 7 out of 9 years and be considered clutch?
They've had so much turnover, though. He's had a new offensive coordinator. I mean, and Gruden was supposed to come in and be the savior. Gruden got in trouble.
I get it. But 9 years, so there's been problems for 9 straight years.
Well, Derek. I think we can all sit here and agree that Derek Carr is a good.
Nobody's arguing
right?
that. The Saints don't want good, though. Saints want to win a Super Bowl.
What were your options, though? Right? To get Aaron. I mean,
again.
To get Lamar, you have to give up your whole team.
And you already botched your first round pick.
And you already, if it'd be different if they had the 10th pick. If they had the 10th pick, you'd be closer to make a play in that draft to move up and get a guy.
Again, everything y'all just said, nobody's arguing. What I'm saying is, in my opinion, they chose the win now a little bit mode over building a Super Bowl team for the future mode. Again, I know they've struggled the past 2 years. They have a diminishing roster when you look at age. Just look at it. They are getting older, and they haven't performed the past couple of years. So they feel like they've got to get all the juice out of the squeeze of bringing in Derek Carr to give themselves a chance. Now, you make the playoffs, who the hell knows what can happen? Anybody can get hot for a stretch. Maybe that's what they're hoping. But in my opinion, if I'm a Saints fan, I want to build for the future. I would have rather said, you know what? We will do something at the quarterback position, whether move up to take a young guy or do something and try and build the pieces around. Because if you look, teams that are winning Super Bowls, we know how important the quarterback position is, obviously. You look at what Patrick Mahomes has done for the Chiefs. But you need a team to win a Super Bowl. And when you look down the road over the next 3 years with what the Saints have on the roster, it's time for a rebuild. And I feel like they just reached to get Derek Carr to make people happy for a couple weeks, to make the playoffs, and lose in the first round.
Well, this is the way I look at it. If you're Derek Carr, all right, you're coming away from a Raiders team that didn't have a defense the entire time you're there. All the games you had to win most of the time that you had to win in a shootout. The Raiders were giving up at least 25-plus points a game. 2, you have a lot better front office at the Saints than you had the Raiders. The Raiders front office was wild. You never knew what was going on there. You come in with a top 10 defense, right? Never had it at the Raiders. You had that at the Saints, something you can rely on, right? And you do still have weapons when it comes to your offense. You did have weapons with the Raiders, but you still have weapons. And you're coming into an old team, right? This is what I kind of look at when it was between the Jets or the Saints. The Jets, extremely talented, right? Extremely talented, extremely young. Still have to learn a lot about who they are and how they play, get in the postseason and see who they are. But you come to a Saints team that's been there, older guys, extremely athletic, top 10 defense. So I think it's a lot of wins for Derek Carr. Do I think Derek Carr is going to get the Saints to the Super Bowl? No, I do not. But Derek Carr is a guy who can. The one thing I worry about Derek Carr, he has a lot of good numbers, but his touchdown to interception ratio is what scares me.
He makes bad decisions
at the end of the day.
Moments.
And at the when it comes to the quarterback in crucial moments, you can't turn the ball over.
What?
He's still one of the best. I mean, he had 29 game-winning drives, like 23 fourth-quarter comebacks. Like, there's certain times in the regular season where Derek Carr will come in clutch for your team, but I think he's a lot better off at the Saints. I feel like the Saints, this is what you had to do since you don't have a first-round pick. You had that 10th pick, and now it's gone. You'd have to give up your everything to try and go to that top 3, top 4 to try and get a guy, but you get a guy in Derek Carr to where it gives you a shot. Right? It gives you a shot, especially in that division.
Well, this could be their version of a rebuild. You're talking about they need to rebuild for the future. They could do that with Derek Carr at the helm rather than go out and pay Lamar Jackson $250 million guaranteed, who also doesn't really have a better playoff record.
Well, I just, again, though, if I say I'm gonna rebuild, I'm not going to go get a veteran quarterback to rebuild. Like, to me, that goes against the grain of putting together a championship caliber team. I feel like, obviously, you build it from the inside out. But with the quarterback position, why would you go spend $150 million on Derek Carr when maybe you could hang around and take a chance on maybe a Hendon Hooker or somebody late to
Well, they may still do something.
And they might, but after they may draft a backup. If they want a Derek Carr to be the tutor of maybe a younger quarterback, I can understand that a lot more, and you're just eat that $150 million, I guess. I think where my argument is, maybe I'm looking at it from a more patient standpoint. I know the front office needs to win. They need to win quickly. You always do in the NFL. I just feel like they should have gone a different route if they wanted to win a Super Bowl within the next 3 to 5 years. I think they're even further behind winning a Super Bowl.
But it's not a franchise that's known for drafting quarterbacks.
That's true.
I mean, they haven't drafted one in the first couple rounds since Archie Manning.
Yeah. What's your
and the Super Bowl winning quarterback they did have, they got Drew Brees from the Chargers.
Yeah, so I think about it as like, what were your other options, realistically? Like, do you not sign a quarterback? You tank next year, win 6 games, and see the quarterbacks coming out next year and see where you are in the draft? Do you go spend a bunch of money for a guy? Or do you take a late chance in a second-round pick on somebody? So I feel like out of all the options they realistically had, I feel like this was probably their safest and best one.
Yeah, that's just where we disagree. But again, I can understand both sides of the coin. There's logical arguments on both sides. But there's not a logical argument for who has the best coffee in the world. And that's our friends over at Black Rifle Coffee. You can save money and drink America's coffee if you go to blackriflecoffee.com and use our promo code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER at checkout. You get 10% off your purchase and your first coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER for that 10% off. You can also find Black Rifle Coffee at grocery stores and convenience stores near you. That means they're doing good. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Deal with it. Cone, what do you got? What is
I already
that?
finished this one off this weekend. Blackbeard's Delight.
Oh, was it? I heard 100% of the time that it works every time.
It did work every time, all weekend. Also have Gunship right here.
Of course. God, you got a pirate and a gunship.
This is my own personal stash I finished
Got your little armada over there. What do you got?
Lava Panther.
Lava Panther. I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, Lava Panther. Square up.
Yeah, that's
Jackson
exactly
Mahomes.
right. BlackRifleCoffee.com. Use that promo code BOOSTER. Booster Club, what's up?
Yes. All right, Booster Club, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Let's go to James Stallings.
Nice.
The $5 donation. He says, Chris Beard to Ole Miss. Great coach, by the way, but I don't want to hear anybody else, especially Ole Miss fans, talk about Brother Hugh
Yeah.
and Auburn.
Yeah, it's funny how this comes back around, doesn't it?
Justin Timberlake's song.
It's like, wow.
Goes around.
Wow, so we're all the same, right? We're all the same. Here's my thing if I'm Ole Miss. Chris Beard got convicted of nothing, all right? Convicted of nothing. Do I think Chris Beard's the greatest guy in the world? No. Do I think Chris Beard is 100% clean of everything? No. But the man did not get convicted. And that's how it works in this country. The person who's going to press the charges dropped them. I think Texas should have waited a little bit longer. It's their institution, though. They can do what they want. They can do what they want. J.G. Wentworth, they wanted their money and they wanted it now. But if you're Ole Miss, this is the only chance in hell you would ever have a chance to sign Chris Beard as your head coach. The only chance. All right, and if you're Ole Miss, and I've said this about SEC basketball, said it since we started the J-Boy show, when the SEC decides they want to be the best at something, it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. That is a tangible fact. And if you look at SEC basketball, they're about to be the second. They're about to have 8 teams probably in the tournament this year. And if you're Ole Miss, you're looking around to your right and left. Chris Jans at Mississippi State's probably about to take them to the tournament. This man can coach his ass off. You got Bruce Pearl at Auburn, Nate Oates at Bama, Coach Cal at Kentucky, who I'm not the biggest fan of in the world, but they are playing better lately. Wallace is absolutely balling on the offensive end. You look at Rick Barnes at Tennessee. Hell, you got Mike White at Georgia, who's not a bad coach, who's just at Florida. Todd Golden we'll see at Florida. But you look around the rest of the league, I mean, there's some fantastic coaches in the SEC. So if Ole Miss, who I can't believe Kermit Davis didn't work out, not that I thought Ole Miss was going to be elite, thought they'd be more competitive than they were. But if you're Ole Miss, yes, I'm either getting Chris Beard or Rick Pitino. All right, dark cloud be damned. Come on over to Ole Miss. All right, let's figure it out. Nobody got in trouble. You want to make Ole Miss relevant? Bring Chris Beard in. Because regardless of all the hate you'll catch, all the bad PR you'll catch, again, he was convicted of nothing. This would be a slam dunk, pun intended, buzzer beater 3 for Ole Miss basketball.
And you got to work something out where he stays for several seasons. Like the worst case scenario here is he comes in for 1 year at Ole Miss. You have a pretty good season. You take the PR hit, and then he's gone to a bigger school after another year.
Can I use a great example real quick? Exactly what you're talking about. Bruce Pearl at Auburn. Now, what Bruce Pearl and Chris Beard did was totally different. Bruce Pearl had a barbecue. Chris Beard got accused of, domestic violence, basically. But Auburn took a huge PR hit when it hired Bruce Pearl. Huge PR hit. But he just got done with that show cause, and not a lot of people would touch him. And he had multiple chances to leave Auburn and didn't because they took a chance on him when nobody else would. That's a great point by you.
All right, Jimbo Eagle, $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jimbo. Says, now that we know what both Carr and Geno will be getting paid, what can we honestly expect Daniel Jones to earn in his next contract? Hashtag G-Men.
Here's my thing with Daniel. I want to get mad at Daniel Jones. I want to be upset with Daniel Jones. But I get it. You've had one good year.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that the hype was there and everything. You and Brian Dable, the match made in heaven. Look, he's like your Geppetto, who just turns you into a real boy out there on the field. Daniel Jones is hot right now. And you got to strike while the iron's hot. All right? If you're Daniel Jones, you will never be hotter from a contract standpoint than where you are right now. So go get your bag. You got the Giants kind of. They need continuity. They're looking over the Jets. What are the Jets going to do? Will it be Aaron Rodgers, or are we just going to keep losing? Like, those are your two options. So if I'm the Giants, I'm the Gigantes, I understand it from Daniel Jones. You got to pay the man. Now, you got to pay the man $200 million.
No.
Yeah.
The only thing I say
Geno
is
got 105.
make sure you had that thing running around in the backfield, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Because Saquon Barkley looked what this year? He looked healthy. And Saquon Barkley healthy is one of the most dangerous backs in the NFL. Your defense is young. I mean, you got good pieces, but Daniel Jones, I mean, he had to show up in this year, or last year. What did he do? He showed up. So what can you ask more?
Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes, right? Bill Belichick had Tom Brady. I want to see Brian Dable get his guy. His guy.
Daniel Jones not his guy?
He can be for this next season.
Okay.
I just cannot
Shout out
get
the
the
Dukies.
instance of Brian Dable, I forgot which game it was, when Daniel Jones made a horrible decision close to the end of the game. And Brian Dable went over to Daniel Jones, who was on the bench, and he just looked at him, and I swear he was like, what the hell are you doing? There was some sort of conversation. And then from then on, Daniel Jones just figured it out. I don't know if what
game.
What that one movie is with the guy who played Zuckerberg on Facebook.
Justin Timberlake?
No. Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. He's the bad guy in Batman. Or he was Lex Luthor in Superman.
Was it?
Yeah. The guy who's Zuckerberg in Facebook. It's the one where they walk in the gas station. They said that one word that like activated him into being an agent. She was like, the potato tastes old. And he's like, and just starts beating that. Like,
there's no roads here?
Yeah, there's no roads here. And it's like he said that to Daniel Jones. He's like, he went up to Daniel Jones. He was like, the piccolo plays in the evening. And he was just like.
All right, let's go to Jariah O with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jariah. Says, did you see Scotty Chef invited all LIV members to the 9th green at 9 o'clock on his master's dinner invitation. Such a Shooter McGavin move. Let's make sure.
Look, Scotty Chef's an old
Scotty
Southern boy.
Chef.
You gotta love it.
Did y'all notice a little bit on that Full Swing series that they kind of, it felt like the narrative was kind of like they were kind of pushing a little bad stuff towards LIV.
Oh, they look.
notice that?
Let's not
LIV is
push
the
bad.
Huh?
LIV is the villain tour, but it's the best thing to happen to golf. It's the best thing.
Have y'all? Well, let me ask y'all this: have y'all watched any of the LIV tour
I watched a little
on
bit of it.
TV?
No. Well,
No.
first of all,
I watched 10 minutes of
They
it.
just signed with the CW. No one was
Yeah, I was
watching
about to say I don't get
I watched
Saudi
10
Arabia.
I'm sorry.
Why?
I can't. There's something about golfers wearing shorts I can't get behind.
No.
I can't get by. It's just
Well,
not
nobody's asking
right.
you to get behind it.
It's
That's
just
you to
not
watch
right.
it.
It's just not right. It just doesn't fit with me. I just can't do it.
Good for you, Blaine.
Thank you. I appreciate
That's
that.
where you draw the line.
Yeah, shorts and
You want
golf.
fighting in sports, but shorts and golf pisses you off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're a
Yeah.
psychopath.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Welcome to it.
I don't see how that
standards.
brain was
Welcome to
wired and put together.
Let's go to Brad David, the man with two first names. $5 donation. He says, would Jackson Mahomes still be famous
Okay.
if Patrick wasn't
Okay.
his brother?
I feel like we're just going through rapid fire. Like
I know,
The Booster
we
Club
gotta-
is on point.
Well, I
Should
mean,
we
look,
answer the
it's
Jackson
donations?
Mahomes
I gotta
now?
say it.
No,
I just read what's in the prompter.
Nobody,
all right?
Nobody is critiquing you.
It sounds like it.
Calm down. What we're saying is, do we want to get to Jackson Mahomes or do you want to wait?
Just set it up with the facts here first.
I don't want to play the video yet, though. Let's wait till we play the video. Unless you want me to play the video.
Until rapid fire?
Yeah. You want me to play the video now?
Well, if we're going to talk about it, we got to play
All
the
right,
video.
all right. Let's go ahead and do it. Bring up the Jackson Mahomes video. All right, this is Jackson Mahomes' brother, allegedly. Use air quotes on that if you can't hear me. He was accused of sexual assault, I believe, and basically groping. It's. You need to watch the video. The audio will not do it justice. Let's go ahead and watch the video. Jackson Mahomes at what looks like a nightclub. Let's go ahead. You can see him grab the girl by the throat and kiss her, but not in like a Nicholas Sparks way, in more of a this gets you to the Kansas State Penitentiary way. She's trying to look to me like she's playing it off, trying to be, normal about it. This is awkward, man. This gives me a second. He goes back again. The double hander? Hand to the Adam's apple, back of the head? I don't know. Calm down, Gary Ridgway. Here's my thing. I am not shocked that Jackson Mahomes is a creep. I'm not shocked at all. What I am surprised at is that was a girl. Because in my opinion, I thought Jackson Mahomes was about as straight as a triangle, man. Like I just again, call me crazy, but the fact that was a girl in that video, and look, I don't know if Jackson Mahomes hits from both sides of the plate. I don't know how it goes down in the Mahomes family. I know one of them puts ketchup on steak, so who the hell else knows what goes on? But the fact that Jackson Mahomes, I never wish bad on anybody, but it's really hard for me not to wish bad on Jackson Mahomes. Like, I actually feel like he's bad for society.
I agree.
I really do. I think
agree.
he makes us worse.
Well, after you did a TikTok on Sean Taylor's grave, there's no, on Sean Taylor's number on the field, there's no coming back from that, in my opinion. I'll hate you forever. But the biggest surprise about this story is that he's not gay.
How do we know that? We don't know that.
Well, I mean, we don't know that. That looked forced to me. That looks like the first time he's ever even tried to be interactive.
I'm going to be honest.
with a girl.
I thought that too.
Yeah, that
I
looked
thought that
forced. Like,
too.
look, dude, if it's okay. It's okay if you are. We all think you are. Don't try to be different because your brother's Patrick Mahomes. All right, don't be. It's 2023. There's never been more of an in time for someone to be gay. But I'm not surprised by this. The only thing I'm surprised at that is a female. I mean, this guy, first of all, how tall is this dude? Like 6'7"?
Yeah, why aren't you playing?
He's an absolute tree. But no, the biggest surprise of this whole thing is that Jackson, that's a female in that video.
It did look awkward, though, David.
I cannot care anything less about Jackson Mahomes. I hate this for his brother. I really do.
Well, here's the question, though. We hear this all the time. What's that weirdo dude on TikTok? He's like, you need to go no contact. I feel like Patrick Mahomes, like the
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I feel like Patrick Mahomes needs to go no contact with Jackson Mahomes.
Well, if you're Patrick
No
Mahomes,
contact.
when you lay down like the law,
How many times do you think Patrick has looked at him and been like, dude, just hang out?
you got no. This is
Just
what's going to
hang
come
out.
to. You got to stop. Either you're not getting anything when it comes to me, money, nothing, until you start acting right.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, if you do that,
He'll
won't see any of
be
this.
dancing his way
Won't
over
see
to
any of
acting.
this.
acting.
Well, that should have happened a long time ago.
exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
start with him and then go to your wife. get next. That'd be the next one I go no contest.
Yeah, that's a little bit different battle.
Yeah.
I don't know about it, but I'm guessing
Definitely.
that's
All right, let's
Jackson Mahomes.
Let's go ahead and get to this SEC schedule. But first, how about that plot twist? M. Night Shyamalan. Sign up for a $1 per month trial at Shopify.com/Crane. That's CRAIN, all lowercase. That's Shopify.com/Crane to start selling online today. Let me tell you what Shopify is. All right, they make it easy to sell to anyone from anywhere. Imagine all the resources and tools available for a large business available to you right now. That's what you'll get with Shopify. If you're starting a podcast and you want to sell merch, I get asked this all the time. What's the best way to do it? Because a lot of people don't know where to start. Start with Shopify. They make it so easy. And when you hear this beautiful sound of a golden conch shell, that means you're getting paid, all right? Because Shopify makes it unbelievably easy, and they're in your corner every step of the way. So when you're ready to take your idea to the world, team up with Shopify, the commerce platform powering millions of businesses worldwide. Then make sure you sign up for that $1 per month trial at Shopify.com/Crane, CRAIN, all lowercase. That's Shopify.com/Crane to start selling online today. Shopify.com/Crane.
I want to hear that sound again.
We rich and whole.
Ooh.
All right, little SEC.
Ding. SEC permanent rivals. Ross Dellinger reported this could be the possible permanent opponents for a 9-game SEC schedule. Do you want me to read off the teams here?
Yeah, let's read them off one by one, and I'm gonna grade A to F on toughness level. How about that? We good on that? And by the way, shout out Ross Dellinger. Typically, he's 100% with what he puts out. Sometimes you got to get lost in the Ross.
All right, in a 9-game conference schedule, Missouri would play Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt every year.
I would give them a C of toughness.
What do you think?
I'm gonna go C plus. We'll see how Oklahoma turns out.
C plus, huh? It's got to be different, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Arkansas would play Missouri, Texas, and Ole Miss.
Ooh, I'm going C. And it's good to get lower grades in here. You want low grades in here. I'm going C minus.
But then you want everybody to watch your ball games. Nobody's going to watch that when you're playing the worst teams.
Well, I mean, if you're
It's
winning,
the SEC, Dave. They're gonna watch.
Yeah, there you go. What else is there to do?
As many people watch Arkansas and Vanderbilt as Alabama, Auburn.
No. But I'm saying they're still gonna watch. And Arkansas's not playing Vanderbilt. Not permanent rivals. So I'll go C plus here as well.
Did you get out permanently?
Did y'all see Arch Manning and boy are gonna fight it out this year for the starting job?
Yeah, okay.
Come on, Arch.
Skip into all the stuff.
Come on, Arch.
And other segments.
Yeah.
Okay. Texas A&M is going to play LSU, Texas, and Mississippi State.
LSU, Texas, and Mississippi State. Give me B minus. B minus toughness.
I feel like that's the correct grading. I'd go B minus.
Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Arkansas.
Ooh, I'm going to go B. I'm going to go straight B, not plus or minus. I mean, there's some versatility there. They're all going to be pretty good. I mean, traditionally. So.
What do you think, Dave?
But apparently, this right here, I mean, look, that's an A-plus schedule. I like Texas playing those games, but apparently in an 8-game schedule, Texas wouldn't play Texas A&M every year.
Yeah, there's just no way they don't go to 9-game, right? There's no way they don't go to 9-game.
That's tough. I'd go B.
I mean, those are the 3 teams I want to see Texas play every year. As much as you'd love to see them play a Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU, I mean, Texas needs to play Oklahoma, 1 for sure. Texas A&M, and then Arkansas, Texas is a huge rivalry just in terms of the state.
It only makes sense.
The LSU and Texas, the beef that was they had in that game.
Well, I
wouldn't mind seeing that every year.
There's a nice hatred circle forming when you look at LSU and Arkansas and Texas and Oklahoma. Like there's not a lot of love lost in between those 4 teams. I kind of like that little corridor matchups.
Love it. Oklahoma would play Texas, Missouri, and Florida.
See, I just have to think Florida's going to be back somewhat at some point. I'm not talking about the next 100 years, within the next 3 to 5 years. Can you read it one more time?
Texas, Missouri, and Florida.
Give me B. Give me a B there because Texas and Florida, 2 of the biggest brand names in college sports.
Go C.
All right, so here's LSU's. They play Ole Miss. They would play Texas A&M and Alabama.
How much do we believe in A&M? That's the question.
I don't. Until you prove it, I don't.
So what are you going? What's your grade?
I'd go.
I'm going C plus.
I'd go B.
I'm C+.
I go B.
So Ole Miss would play Mississippi State, obviously, then LSU and Arkansas.
Man, I feel like they did these about as even as they could. I'm going to say, since you're having to play LSU and Arkansas with them, give me C+. Give me C+.
I go C+.
All right, was that Ole Miss or Mississippi State?
It was Ole Miss.
Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Texas A&M.
It's interesting right here.
C-. Mississippi State may have got the best draw at anybody.
C+.
So here's Alabama's. Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU.
Yeah, A. Now, I'm going to say, Nick Saban came out and said he didn't like this.
Yep.
I know we're going to talk about that later, but I've got a theory on that.
Okay. So then Auburn would play Alabama, Georgia, and Vanderbilt.
You got to give us Vandy after you give us Bama and Georgia. You got to, right? Either that or bye week. Y'all get an automatic SEC win. It's like the spot on the bingo card. I mean, look, A. But here's the thing. As an Auburn fan, I'm used to this. Now, all y'all did was just guarantee we played Vanderbilt every year. Thank you. Like, we already had to play Bama and Georgia every year. Thank you for at least guaranteeing we get Vanderbilt.
It's an A. It's an A. I mean, but good. Line them up. I want to go through them to get where we
Auburn only
it's an
got
A with Vanderbilt on the schedule?
Yeah, because you have Georgia and Bama.
Yeah.
You're basically playing the two teams that are probably going to win the national championship.
For sure. That's like me fighting Godzilla and King Kong, and then all of a sudden, like a dwarf.
Hawkeye. They put Hawkeye in there. Yeah.
Like,
All right, so Vandy would play Tennessee and State, then Auburn and Missouri.
they're screwed anyway, so I
Okay.
don't know.
All right.
A++.
So Tennessee would play Vanderbilt, Alabama, and they have South Carolina.
Man, Tennessee, they let Tennessee off the hook. They let Tennessee off the hook. If I'm a Tennessee fan and a Mississippi State fan, I'm Shia LaBeouf in this one.
Really?
I'm Shia LaBeouf in this one. I mean, look, Vanderbilt, okay, you got to play that. We already know about that. We know about Bama. They kept that rivalry there. We know, but South Carolina?
How is Georgia or Florida not on that list?
Yeah. You got to give them at least Florida.
They play Florida all the time.
Yeah,
It's a
you got to
great
give them
game.
at least Florida.
Well, it seems like what they did with Florida, it came down to South Carolina. Like that's what it seemed like, because they gave both Florida and Tennessee South Carolina. Like,
Who do you believe in the next 3 years? South Carolina or Florida? Who do you believe in more to be better? Probably South Carolina.
I mean, you
right?
got to go South Carolina right now, but I don't
Beamer
think it's
ball,
as
baby.
drastic as what people think it is. By the way, their tight ends coach followed me today.
Did he?
This morning, yeah.
Kentucky would play Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Okay.
Don't hate that if I'm a
I'll go B-.
Kentucky fan. I do not hate. Yeah, here's the thing: if you're a Kentucky fan right now, you guys are playing better in basketball, so you can care less about this.
Devin Leary, baby. Let's go.
Georgia would play Auburn, Florida, and Kentucky.
I think that's perfect.
I just think Georgia should have to play Alabama every year.
I think Georgia should have to
will
play
in
Alabama
Atlanta.
3 times.
Yeah. They should
Georgia
have to
and
play
Bama should have to play
Alabama
3 times.
Yeah, I agree.
That way,
And
at least
Georgia should have to play Alabama and Michigan.
At least
every
one of them will lose twice. At least
Florida would have Georgia, South Carolina, and Oklahoma.
That's tough.
The Florida-Oklahoma
Florida got a
game.
tough draw. Florida got a tough draw as well.
Mhm.
South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And that's it.
All right. So when we're looking at hardest schedule or hardest permanent rivals, to me, man, like, I mean, there's a couple to look at. I would say the easiest, I would go Mississippi State. I think has the easiest. When it comes to hardest, I mean, Auburn does have Bama and Georgia.
It's either Auburn or Bama.
It's either Auburn or Bama.
I mean, you got Auburn has
Yeah.
Georgia and Alabama. Great.
I love this format,
Alabama has
though.
Auburn, Tennessee.
I will
LSU.
say, I don't think they could have done a better job, though. If this is what it ends up being, like, in my mind, I tried to go through and,
Yeah.
like, you know, Professor Megorium's Emporium this thing.
There's
or
always going to be
whatever it's called.
somebody who's unhappy.
Yeah, and there's going to be one of those peripheral rivals. You know, what I found fascinating looking at this list, when you look at LSU and Arkansas, they didn't have LSU and Arkansas playing each other, which is kind of a peripheral rivalry. But I knew some of the peripheral rivalries are going to go to the wayside. Now, those are just permanent rivals. They could play them in the other schedule. I don't know yet. We haven't seen it. But, like, some of those peripheral rivalries are going to go away for a little bit, but you're going to create new ones. Like, wait a minute. Like, Georgia's going to play Ole Miss and A&M, and we're going to get to see matches we haven't seen in so long. So I'm excited
The
about it.
text. Go ahead.
So here's what Nick Saban said. He said, you know, after they got the draw of Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU, so I would like to have more balance. They're giving us Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee. I don't know how they've come to that. And then insert Brian Kelly here yesterday at LSU said, I want to play the best. I came down here to the SEC because I want to play against Alabama. I want to play A&M. I want to play Auburn, the great teams. And in our new scheduling, we get to play Alabama every year, Ole Miss every year, and A&M. That's really why I came down here. I want to play those games. I think playing 9 SEC games is great for your schedule, and it prepares you for the opportunity to play for a championship, but also play for the national championship. But then he also added, I think everybody has to take on their schedules. Nick has never backed down from a challenge. I'm not too worried about whether Nick Saban is going to have his team ready when he plays LSU.
Nick is always, I think Saban operates from a point of, I always want to get us more. So like, regardless of what it is, like it can be the greatest idea of all, but here's how I can make it better to help me out, to be more advantageous. Help me, help you, help me. That's what I think from Nick Saban. But I don't think this is about Nick Saban's coaching tenure at Alabama. I think Nick Saban sees himself, and he is, as the overlord and protector of Alabama football. I think this is a future thing. I think this is who he's going to leave the program to, having to play Auburn and LSU and Tennessee. I don't think this is as much about Nick Saban coaching as Nick Saban handing it off to somebody else and leaving them in the best position possible to be able to have a chance to even remotely recreate the success that Nick Saban had. I don't think Nick Saban's scared of playing these teams at all. You basically had to play them every year anyway, if you look about it. I mean, Tennessee and Alabama's a rivalry. They play every third Saturday in October. Auburn and Alabama, duh, we know that. Alabama and LSU, you've been in the same division. You have to play each other forever. So this isn't anything new. But I think Nick is trying to position himself and position Alabama in the best spot possible, which is smart for him to hand this off to somebody else and not have to say, all right, here you go. Yeah, you got great players, but you're definitely going to have to play these 3 permanent teams. I think that's how ingrained Nick Saban in Alabama football is. He sees himself as the father of Alabama football.
Well, look, nobody wants to see Alabama play Troy. Nobody wants to see Alabama play UAB, right? You want to see them play Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU every single year. There's a reason those 3 schools get named whenever they sing Dixieland Delight in the stadium, right? So if you want to be regarded as the greatest college football coach of all time, which many people think Nick Saban is, and you want to have a clause in your contract that says you're the highest paid coach, the second another coach gets paid higher, then you have to go play the best teams every year. So I like it.
Yeah, what a great clause in your contract.
Yeah, so you got to play the best teams. You know,
I'd
rather you own it, kind of like what Brian Kelly's saying, to be honest.
Well, I feel like it's just like Nick's been in the SEC since 2007, before that at LSU. Like, I feel like Brian Kelly, like, this is cool. Brian, it's cool, but you're still new here. Like, it's cool just to go to Miami, you know, for a year. But if you live in Miami for 5 years, it's a little bit different. So let's take some shots. You'll take the beating a little bit, but let's not jump the gun. I'm going to play the best. Look, you're in the SEC West. You're playing the best teams.
Well, that's the point. That's what he's saying, right? So, like, if the statement is always, well, all the best teams in the country are in the SEC, and there's no difference between the top teams and the middle teams and the bottom teams, then what does it matter which permanent rivals you get?
Yeah,
right. Like, why is Nick Saban saying, I don't know how they came to this? Why front loading us with these 3 teams if they're all the best teams?
Yeah, I think Brian Kelly saw an opportunity to kind of look like a badass a little bit.
Yeah,
and he took it,
for sure.
Which I totally blame. I don't know, and to me, David, I don't think the argument we're talking about the SEC. I don't want this to come off of as me saying that the SEC is the best because all the teams are fantastic teams and
we know they're not
the top and the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with that I have with what Saban said was like, what do you accomplish by this? Like, I get your positioning and posturing, but what do you accomplish by it? If you wanted to get this changed, and you have the ability to get it changed, which if anybody in college football could get this changed, it's Nick Saban, why would you not just make a backdoor call to somebody?
Behind closed doors.
Exactly. Why would you, what do you gain?
That's why I like what Brian Kelly's saying so much, because like you're saying, he saw an opportunity to be a tough guy. I think he also saw that any words he says are going to be futile in getting anything changed. So why not just, it's like the guys in 300 going into battle. Like if you're already going to have the fight of your life ahead of you, you might as well just go in like a badass.
For sure.
Utter confidence.
Yeah, and you're 1-0 against Bama. Let's not act like Brian Kelly came in and won the West year 1, and the only person who stuck a year out at Miami was Nick Saban.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Booster Club?
Yep.
Let's get to it. Nick Dobbs with a $20 donation.
Nicky D.
Currently in the hospital waiting on baby number 1 to arrive.
Woo!
You can't help but think after one day of spring practice that Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning QB dynamic is going to be a side circus, signed as an objective Longhorn fan.
It's a trap.
Congrats, bro.
Congrats. Number one, I hope the baby's healthy. Hope mama's doing great. And everything. You guys obviously were, very excited for you guys. Hope everything goes well. We appreciate it, man. And yeah, look, when it comes down to Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning, what have I said since Arch Manning committed to Texas? What's the plan? I said Texas would be in the SEC before 2025. Quinn Ewers is going to finish out this year at quarterback. He's going to get drafted into the NFL. And Arch Manning will be the starting quarterback in Texas year one in the SEC. The biggest narrative storyline ever. The nephew of Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, the grandson of Archie Manning, and the son of Cooper Manning, he does cool stuff too, is going to be the starting quarterback at Texas when they go in the SEC. Come on, man. Come on, that's the easiest storyline ever. Quinn Ewers is going to be the starter. Arch may get some PT this year, but I'm telling you, Arch will be the starting quarterback next year after Quinn gets drafted.
So here's what Texas coach Steve Sarkisian said. I'm not worried about who's going to be on the cover of what magazine next week. I'm more focused on each guy focusing on what they need to do to develop and be the best player they can be. Quinn has an entire year of a head start, but I don't want to hold Arch back. I want to see how far he can take this thing and what he can look like.
Yeah, well, there's like a balance. There's like a fine line you got to walk, right? Because you do have a starter there in Quinn Ewers that's young, that has to improve his footwork, but has a ton of talent. You don't want to just go out and be like, Arch Manning, yeah, he's definitely better than Quinn already. Like, look at Quinn Ewers. You trust that guy? I don't. He looks like the guy going to get the tee for Houston. But when it comes to Arch Manning, and I think Sark knows how to play the game. I think the Mannings understand how the game is played. I think Quinn Ewers understand how the game is played. I think Sark answered that about as perfect as you can answer it. Because I can't on one hand say Arch doesn't have a chance, all right? Because that's obviously not going to motivate him as much as it need to. And then on the other hand, you can't be like, oh, Arch is definitely going to be the quarterback because Quinn sucks. So I think he answered that about as well as he could.
So I guess some of this has to do with Quinn Ewers cut off his trademark mullet. and Sarkisian said all of a sudden now the guy gets a haircut and cleans his beard up a little bit and everyone thinks Quinn's real serious. But that's human nature. It's never been a question of him taking this serious. He wants to be really good. He wants to be a leader on this team. He wants to win a championship with these guys.
How do you shave the mullet though? I feel like you got worse.
Look,
it's a Samson situation.
Division III, the best player is going to play.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't care if you're a freshman, you're Stetson Bennett, you're 36 out there playing. If you're give my team the best chance to win, you're going to be out there.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
So all the Arch Manning hype, I feel like the kid's just set up to fail.
Just remember, Quinn Ewers came in as one of the highest-rated quarterbacks
Quinn Ewers is good.
ever come out of high school.
Yeah.
He was toasting Bama before he got hurt.
Yeah.
People forget, toasting them. Like here, cheers.
All right, let's go to Lauren Jett. Lauren, welcome. His first time catching the show live.
What's up?
$5 donation. Appreciate it. Well, NBA basketball here. Is Zion out for the rest of the season? The Pale stray further away from a play-in every day like it is worth risking yet another injury.
Look, it's like I say all the time. I don't want to sit up here and say I'm right. I don't want to come here and say that I told you paying Zion this Supermax money was an absolute dumbass decision because every time I wipe my eyes, I see Anthony Davis. Like, at some point, this man cannot stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. How much longer do you need to see? How much you give him more money? How much you give him half the city of New Orleans, which is absolutely falling apart right now, by the way. I hope they get that turned around down there. But when I look at the Pels, I just believe your superstar, your guy, the person everybody's supposed to look at, is a fraud. Not that Zion's not good at basketball, not that he's a freak athlete, but the best ability is availability. And Zion is never available. You're paying, it's like spending a bunch of money on a car that you can rarely ever drive. It makes no sense to me. I don't want it to just sit in the garage. If I got a car, I want to go drive that son of a gun. I thought when they were talking about the Supermax deal with Zion, I thought they should have moved Zion, send his hurt ass to the Knicks. Why not? Let him go up there and handle that while y'all have that nice young core of talent that you had that made that little bit of a run while he was out. Now you're stuck with him. It's like that movie with Matt Damon and the other guy who was in Mystery Men, Stuck on You. You're just Siamese twins with Zion, which means half of you's hurt, which means all of you's hurt.
Tom Brady was in that movie.
He was.
That's right. Cameo.
Yeah, that's right.
I said the same thing you did. When this happened. Like, why did
Who was the only one who said it
to
was
the Knicks? Huh?
Good idea.
I still think it's a good idea.
Okay.
The Pelicans are 7-18 without him.
Yeah, look, I get that he's really, really good at basketball, but can he stay healthy? We talk about this with Tua and the Dolphins a lot. He's a really good quarterback. He's the right answer when he's healthy and he's on the field, right? Same with Zion on the court. So what's going to happen here over the next couple seasons for Zion and the Pelicans?
Well, yeah, good one.
I think he's coming back. He's been out since January 2nd, and it's a hamstring. But think about with guys like this, especially like Zion, we always get worried. Like, you're so big and you're so explosive. Are you more risk for injury? Which obviously you are. But I still think the talent that Zion is, how young he is in his career, you'd almost be crazy not to pay this man. You would almost be insane not to pay Zion.
They were doing well last season without him.
Well, what's going on this season?
What was the record you said again?
7-18.
So, again, you signed him, which made other players less available to be able to come to New Orleans. Who you could have gotten
You have the same core you had last year.
And you could have added more. That's what Jake's point is.
You want to know the difference is? You know the difference is? Zion played more this year. Zion played more. They're doing worse when Zion plays more.
They were on top of the conference when Zion was playing. And then he got hurt. Now they're 7-18.
No. I'm talking about last year. You said last year Zion, remember Zion got hurt early and didn't play. They went on this big-time run. Then it was, do they need to move them because they're playing well and they have this young core. I'm not saying Zion is a bad basketball player. I'm not saying that the Pelicans won't be good every now and then with having Zion. But if you want to operate at full potential, I think you made a mistake by paying a guy that's never going to – I wonder how many times he'll play more than half a season. And so, which that means, because there's not a lot of guys that get hurt a lot when they're younger and then don't when they get older. That's really not how that works. Typically, when you get hurt a lot when you're younger, you either fizzle out or you're having to deal with that stuff as you get older.
I agree.
And a lot of people are saying the Pelicans organization still don't want him to go out there until he's fully 100%. Zion's tried to come back, and they pushed him back and told him to wait.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Okay. So we're just going to do this every year. I don't care what the Pels are telling. He'll get hurt next year. He'll get hurt the year after that. Like, at some point, if you're paying me that type of money, I should be having a return not only from what I am producing, but just playing. Like, just the fact of me playing, me going to work, all right? And also not wearing that ugly-ass yellow turtleneck.
Well, we're talking about NBA fashion.
I agree with you on young guys who get injured don't get healthier as they get older, which is the point I've been making on Lamar Jackson. He's got every season since his last 1,000-yard rushing season, he's gotten injured, and now he wants $250,000, which is why I was saying the Ravens need to take caution, just like the Pelicans should have with Zion.
Yeah, well, it's just, again, like, it's not that you paid Zion. It's that you supermaxed him. Yeah. Like, this is supposed to be your superhero. And basically, you got Mr. Glass. You thought you had Bruce Willis, but you got Samuel L. Jackson in the wheelchair that every time he falls out, he breaks his legs or something. He walks outside and the spine snaps.
All right, let's go to David S. with a $2 donation. He says, Jake, sorry about your Jaguars, bud. Did the South lose?
Yeah, but that's why I bet on ULL. Thought I could reverse jinx again, and it didn't work.
South lost.
They blew it. I hate it for Richie Riley, though. But again, Turbo Jones, Auburn transfer. By the way, Jamal Johnson, Auburn transfer from Chattanooga, got absolutely smoking hot the second half last night, but they still lost. I want to give a shout-out to Furman real quick while we're on this. Last year, Furman lost on a buzzer beater. They hadn't made the NCAA tournament or won the SoCon. I don't think they've ever won the SoCon, but they hadn't made the NCAA tournament since 1980. The John Baptiste guy hit basically a half-court shot to beat them last year. They had two guys, Slauson and Bothwell, both who could have gone and played anywhere, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC. They decided to return to Furman for one more year to have one more opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. They stayed, and they accomplished it last night. And in a world where everybody is transferring the first chance they get, these two guys who I think are going to have a chance to play, at least one of them will have a chance to play professional, could have gone anywhere to the biggest schools. They stuck with Bob Ritchie and Furman, and they just won the conference championship on the same court that they lost the year before on a buzzer beater. I just want to give a shout out to Furman. That shows a lot of guts, shows a lot of preparation. It said that the day after, the morning after they got beat on the buzzer beater, they had a team meeting that lasted until 4 a.m. in the hotel room. And Bob Ritchie said this can either be a stepping stone or a stumbling block. So I'm going to give a congrats to Furman.
Wow, that's good. I didn't know that story.
I watched.
I went to football camp at Furman in middle school.
I remember Furman signed that safety off two-a-days, like Max, the white guy from Hoover.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, first of all, I'm loving all the Vandy love in the chat right now.
What are they saying about Vandy?
I'm loving all, I don't know, expectations. Vandy has expectations.
Don't put the word expectations in Vandy now.
They said Jake needs to be the head coach of Vandy. Apparently, Matt Walsh is a huge Vandy fan. I just want everybody to know who's been sitting in this chair defending Vandy this entire time.
Football.
This guy.
Football.
It's
Make sure
this
we
guy.
say football.
Matt
We're not
Walsh
saying
is
baseball.
not
Because Vanderbilt golf.
Wait, we just have an update. Matt Walsh is not
Definitely
a Vanderbilt
not a
fan.
Vandy
No,
fan.
no, they're being
Facetious.
it's a joke.
Oh, I
just wanted to
didn't
make
realize
that
there's a
clear.
whole other Matt Walsh. The
there
guy
is
in,
another
the guy
Matt
in
Walsh.
Old School,
Yeah,
the comedian.
Yes.
I didn't know his name was Matt
He's
Walsh.
in like Ghosts. Or
Yeah,
something,
you know,
that new
the
show.
bald guy in-
I thought
in
Matt
Old
Walsh
School.
from Daily Wire was going to make. I was like, wow, they're going to let Matt on the. They're going to let Matt on TV.
You saw the same thing?
yeah, I did. I was like, Matt Walsh. I was like, Matt Walsh in a comedy?
And now they both know how it feels when people get me confused with David Cohn.
Oh no, or people confuse David Cohn with
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
That
I got a tweet this week on the Jeremy's Chocolate thing that said, I followed your career as a Yankee and especially with the Red Sox, and I respected it, but I've lost all respect now that you support a bigoted company like that.
All right, let's go to Stephen Moore. What's up, Stephen? He says the NFL Network aired a rumor that Brady might be coming out of retirement. It is in his best interest to take the league minimum to prevent Giselle from getting a larger portion of his income.
Stop it. Stop it.
I don't want to hate Tom Brady. I don't want to dislike Tom Brady.
0% chance.
I don't want to
Ah,
dislike
1%.
Tom Brady.
Come back, Tom.
If he
1%.
comes back.
Come back, Tom.
You just want
Come back,
Chaos.
Tom.
You want chaos.
But
You
no,
want
hey,
swirl in that
Blaine wants
drink.
Tom Brady to play 73 years in the NFL, but God forbid anybody wears shorts on a golf course.
Amen.
Yeah, I bet Tom won't wear shorts on a golf course.
I bet Tom has like holographic shorts.
Well, it's different. So you go and play with your buddies and like you're a professional golfer.
But
I don't want to see your knees.
No, like
Well, that's why the LIV is a semi-retirement.
Like there basically is. They're playing
you
music.
saw
on the
you
tee
saw
box,
ankle
like-
bone?
Yeah, it's what that.
No, but like Tom Brady, like don't come back, man. Don't come back. It's like they caught you stealing at the convenience store, and they're like, "Hey, we put your picture up, so you can't come back. Just don't come back."
And he comes back with a mustache.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, my name's Ron Brady.
please come back with a stash, Tommy.
Yeah.
I'll put
Let me do
all
the
my
combine
money. I'll
again.
put all my money on Miami. I'll
He
put
comes
all
back-
of it.
He comes back with a mustache?
All of it.
You're
If he
putting all
comes
your
back
money
with the
on Miami.
Bucks or with the Dolphins?
The Dolphins.
Oh, okay.
I'm not putting on the Bucks.
Well, I thought that's what if he came back with the Bucks.
If he's
you would
coming
put-
back, he's coming back to Miami.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to play with them boys.
Part ownership. Stephen Ross.
Let's go to Travis Elrod. What up, Travi? Hashtag Ask Crane and Company. Who is losing more options as teams and QBs get paired up? The Ravens or Lamar Jackson?
Who's losing more options?
Yes. Who's losing
Well,
more
look,
options?
look. The more quarterbacks that get taken, the better it is for Lamar. I mean, you're that position. Like because the Ravens, you got to replace them with somebody. Either that or you're going to draft somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they're not going to draft somebody. Derek Carr being off the table and all these other quarterbacks that go off the table, that shrinks what your availability is that you can bring in, which in turn helps Lamar Jackson.
I agree. All right, let's go to Laura Brown. What's up, Laura? Who is better positioned for the move to the SEC right now? Is it Oklahoma or is it Texas in football? Just in football.
Just in football?
Specifically.
I mean, look, I think Texas has a better roster right now, but I think it's even Stevens with Texas and Oklahoma coming in. Neither one of them are dominant. You don't look at either one of them, you're like, oh my God. Like, not Dylan Gabriel in that offense, we know can score defensively. I don't worry about Venables being able to figure out. I think they're about as even as you can get right now.
I think it's even too because Oklahoma has dominated more than Texas over the past decade. But right this second, Steve Sarkisian is going to have more of a head start than Brent Venables, and he's going to have two quarterbacks who I think can go in and really deliver. So let's see. We always talk about, Texas is back and Texas A&M is back. At some point, these things do have to come to fruition. Look at Tennessee finally breaking through this past season. So it's difficult that Steve Sarkisian's first couple of seasons, he's actually going to have to jump into the SEC. But hey, you're taking Oklahoma with you. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, let's go to Trevor Sage. What up, Trevi? He says, I'm a big Celtics fan. I've always been a fan of Jason Tatum. Lost a lot of respect for him last night. Sitting out after blowing double-digit leads in the last 3 or 4 games. What's your thoughts?
You know how I feel? You're 2 games back from first place right now. I'm playing. I'm playing. 2 games back. The Bucks are up 2 games. All right? The Bucks are 46-18. Celtics are 45-21. That 1 seed's huge. The 1 seed is always huge. But I love Jason Tatum as a player. But I will not forget that dude put on the invisibility cloak when it came down to it. And I know they did this. I'm not talking about regular season. I'm talking about postseason.
Last year,
where you're judged. When it came down to it, Jaylen Brown was the one who not only the Celtics gave the ball to, but who wanted the ball.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum disappeared. And I don't forget things like that because in those moments, you find out what type of player you really are in that league. Jason Tatum is a star, a star. I'm not saying he's soft. I'm not saying he's weak. I'm definitely not calling him Ben Simmons, who gets hurt, rehabbing being hurt. Got that one right again. Anyways, when it comes down to
Jason Tatum's not Ben Simmons?
No, that Ben Simmons, we'll get to Ben Simmons. But Jason Tatum, I saw what happened when it came down to it. I will always trust Jaylen Brown more, but I'm with you, Trevor. You're down 2 games. We're trying to get the 1 seed. I'm playing, but Al Horford's 137 out there playing.
So did the team sit him? Is that what happened?
Either way, though, I'm playing.
They blew a double-digit lead last 3 or 4 games and sat.
Yeah, I'm playing.
So
I'm playing.
So I don't know if the team sat him or was.
Let's
it's load management, man. You can't get too tired. You know, like
I wish someone would
go out there and get too tired when you're getting paid millions.
Yeah, somebody should get off my lawn on that.
So you want to hit my bank account? Not today.
Yeah, let's hit rapid fire real quick of the stuff we haven't hit. I feel like we.
Okay, or you want fit it?
I want fit in a minute. Baby.
Let's go fit it in a minute.
I want fit in a minute. All right. This was new. I dropped this on you today. All right. So Cone, if you pull this off, you're a true wit.
All right. So here's the rules.
True wit.
You don't know. Cone has 1 minute to read NFL headlines. We're going to NFL today, right? He cannot screw up. Screwing up is messing up a word, pausing, doing things like that. And we'll be able to tell if he screws up. If he does screw up, we don't start the clock back to a minute. We keep it where it is, but he has to start over. All right. Clock, put it up. We got the clock ready? All right, I'm going to count us in. And then I'm going to say fit it in a minute, Wilder Badarama style. You ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Fit it in a minute.
Jaguars wide receiver Calvin Ridley has been reinstated by the NFL after serving a year-long suspension for gambling. Sheriff deputies apparently entered Joe Mixon's home late last night after shots were fired. Apparently, no arrests were made. Cowboys franchise tag running back Tony Pollard and tight end Dalton Schultz will be a free agent. The Ravens will apparently wait until today's 4 p.m. deadline before placing the franchise tag on quarterback Lamar Jackson. Seahawks reach a 3-year, $105 million deal with comeback player of the year quarterback Geno Smith. $52 million of that will come in year 1. The Rams are releasing linebacker Leonard Floyd. The Vikings released linebacker Eric Kendricks. Deshaun Watson says he's willing to restructure his contract with the Browns. They just need to massage some things around. The Chiefs won't be franchise tagging left tackle Orlando Brown, and the Chiefs will release pass rusher Frank Clark, who has the 3rd most postseason sacks in NFL history.
Yeah, Tony!
Undefeated and fit it in a minute. Is that 3-0?
Come on,
Let's go, man.
I gotta make this harder. I gotta make this harder. I'm gonna start throwing in words that you have to say like during the middle of it.
What were you guys doing today?
I
know this
you don't want to know.
You don't want to know. Unfair if they were putting stuff in front of your eye line.
No. First off,
fair. Life's not
PJ,
fair.
We thrive through adversity. I don't need you out here.
He did
out here.
Your adversity.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. I don't need you out here softening things up when Cone's out here pushing through problems to get the job done.
You really see the David Michigan come out of it.
Do you see the David Michigan?
You really see the David Michigan come out.
He is my hero.
You see how red he gets? You see how red he gets? That's David
really good, Dave.
That's the blood.
We hate red.
That's that.
Amazing blue.
But hey, a lot of news coming out of the NFL. Deshaun Watson reconstructing the deal a little bit.
His deal. So what sticks out to you guys there? The sheriff deputies at Joe Mixon's home.
Yeah, I got to see what happens. Apparently, the sister's saying Joe Mixon isn't involved, but there were cops showed up at his house like midnight, like knocking on the door.
If you're the Bengals, like it's getting old.
Well, let's see
pretty
what
quick
happened first.
And I'm just saying, if Bijan Robinson's running around that first round, and I still got to pick. Come on down.
Imagine Bijan to the Bengals or the Eagles. Either one. Have a field day.
That'd be a great situation for Bijan, except the Bengals look at that offensive line and be like, I don't feel like getting murdered or turning into Swiss cheese.
Yeah, so 4 p.m. today, we'll see if the Ravens franchise tag Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
That's 4 p.m. Eastern, so that'll be 3 p.m.
And then they said that negotiations will go through the deadline, basically.
And then Frank Clark, I didn't realize he was 3rd all-time in postseason sacks.
Frank Clark's a dog. So glad he got another Super Bowl there with the Chiefs.
Leonard Floyd out of the Rams saves $15.5 million for cap space.
Yeah, Cowboys franchise tag, Tony Pollard.
So Dalton Schultz will now become a free agent.
Is Jahmyr Gibbs Tony Pollard?
You were saying that yesterday.
Man, I'm telling you, the more
So what should the Cowboys do at tight end now if Dalton Schultz will be a free agent?
I mean, you need that tight end piece. I mean, And Dalton had good rapport
Michael
with Dak
Mayer?
Prescott.
Michael Mayer?
Hell, like Dalton Schultz isn't the problem. Like it's Dalton Schultz in the playoffs came through. I mean, hell, is the first touchdown scorer. I think he hit it 2 games in a row. But you need that security blanket for Dak. I mean, when you look at the market for tight end, is it a young guy? Do they go try and get Darnell Washington? The monster, and put him on that offensive line. Can you imagine 11 personnel with Darnell Washington next to Tyron Smith?
So Dallas has a 26th pick in the first round. And you got to think, I think it's going to be, depending on Dalton Schultz, it's going to be receiver tight end. All right, it's going to be receiver tight end. I wouldn't be surprised.
You think Michael Mayer makes it that
I think
way?
Michael probably go before that.
How about Darnell Washington?
I want Darnell to go to the Jaguars. That's where I want.
Why do you want Darnell to go to the Jaguars?
What do you mean, why do I want
You're a Jags
Look
fan
at him.
now.
Yeah, I am a Jags fan.
I keep forgetting
You're
you're
a Jags
fan
and a
now. Somebody
Flyers
sent you a box of stuff. Now you're a Jags fan.
Yeah, that's all it takes. You're a Yankees fan.
Blank can be bought. Blank
I can easily be bought.
Blank can be bought so easy. He can be bought with a box full of clothes.
Could be bought with a foam finger.
Yeah.
I could. But I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe Quentin Johnson
Quentin Johnson
to Dallas at 26.
No.
No?
I'm hearing Quentin Johnson's going to go like top 14.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either. I still think the Texans are going to end up grabbing him.
Jackson Smith and Jigba
would be a great fit.
projected in the 20s.
You got to think they drafted old boy from South last year.
Where are you going to get it tight end?
That's what I'm saying. Like I think they have to go.
I think you have to re-sign Dalton Schultz.
That's what I think you do.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Dalton, you're free. We want you back.
I think you're right.
Because I just don't know if Dalton Schultz is a spread tight end. That's what he is. It's like he's a catch first tight end. He's not going to go out there and just move people 9 yards.
Yeah, but he blocks well enough.
Yeah, well enough. But it'd be a lot different with Darnell Washington. He's going to maul people.
Yeah, but can Darnell Washington actually catch passes in the
Run really?
That's what I want to see.
Darnell get down the seam against the safety.
Like that's what I got to, because he still kind of runs with his legs out a little bit. Even though he ran 4.67, but that straight
Read
line.
Charles Moore's comment in there about the Cowboys.
Charles Moore. Okay. If you see it, read it.
You see it? Charles Moore said the Cowboys should wait a year and draft Brock Bowers.
You're not going to
Jerry Jones isn't known for waiting.
You're not going to get him. You're not going to
Jerry Jones doesn't even wait on death.
Brock's going to be a top 10 pick.
Like, the kid is...
Yeah, he's going to be a top 10 pick. And the Cowboys are not going to be in the top 10.
The kid is nice.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Okay, we have a $5 donation here from T-Money.
T-Money.
Says, if Jalen Hurts takes a pay cut to keep Philly's offense hot, do the Eagles have the ability to build a dynasty to rival the Chiefs?
Yes. Yes. Hell yes. Look, we said this. Jalen Hurts is a smart cat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he realizes, and every quarterback needs help, but Jalen Hurts, especially where he is right now, getting better and getting more developed, realizes how important everything is around him. And it's not just about A.J. Brown. It's not just about Devontae Smith. It's those guys up front. That's where that money is going to come into fruition. Because that was the difference. The difference between the Eagles and basically everybody else in that side was up front. That's why it was so shocking in the Super Bowl to see that defense struggle the way they did. But Andy Reid and the Chiefs were able to get the ball out quick. They did a lot of things to manipulate what Gannon and them were doing on the defensive side. But yes. Now, are we talking about dynasty when you're talking about rivaling? We're talking about seeing the Chiefs and Eagles multiple times for Super Bowls? Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't think the Eagles are going anywhere.
No, they're not.
I just worry about them up front. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Fletcher Cox, BG, these are older guys. Kelsey.
I mean, BG had 10 sacks this past year, man. He's playing about as good as he's played.
I know, but still, he's in the later half of his career. Lane Johnson's probably done.
But if
Kelsey's done, the reason the Chiefs were so good because they dominated up front. Dominated teams. One of the best centers we've ever seen in Kelsey. One of the best right tackles we've ever seen in Lane
Johnson. So the Eagles were you said Chiefs.
Okay, excuse me, yeah. The Eagles are so dominant up front, and that helped Jalen Hurts out so much. Those two guys are almost impossible to replace. Fletcher Cox, it's almost impossible to replace. So I'm more worried about the Chiefs up front because that made Jalen Hurts, I think, look a lot. I keep saying the Chiefs. The Eagles look a lot better than what Jalen Hurts actually is. All right, and you take those two guys out, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, let's go to Cajun Country. I think he's a Saints fan, if I could guess. He says $150 million for a mediocre quarterback.
Yeah, this is, again, and you have to pay people. I get it. You just got I think the Seahawks overpaid for Geno Smith too, at $105 million, to be honest with you. Now, Derek Carr wanted that type money because Derek Carr thinks he's that type money worth quarterback. He's not, in my opinion. He's just not. I like Kirk Cousins as a quarterback. He's overpaid. Derek Carr is overpaid. I think the Seahawks overpaid a little bit for Geno, but I love that the Seahawks are going to give Geno a chance. When it comes to Derek Carr, you bought a Ferrari that has an okay engine. That's what you got. That's what you have. And the Saints, here's what will happen. The Saints will win the NFC South. They'll make the playoffs and have no shot in hell to advance. None. That's what you bought. So you bought a little bit of security, a little bit of insurance. Maybe the fans won't get super pissed off if we're just able to make the playoffs, but that shouldn't be good enough for Saints fans.
The thing about Geno Smith is I get it. You think he led the league in completion percentage.
Again.
At 70%. Finished 6th in total QBR. Finished 4th in touchdown passes. And led the Seahawks to the NFC.
Yes. But I'll go back and say it's kind of the Daniel Jones thing. Now, they're in two different situations, but what's the anomaly? Was last year the anomaly with Geno Smith, or was it his whole career before that? Now, another thing, when a quarterback gets hot and figures it out, it's just like a pitcher in baseball. Defenses catch up to you. They figure out, all right, this is why it's working, this is what's helping them out. Can you adjust to the adjustment? That's how you find out if a quarterback is going to have longevity. Can you adjust to the adjustment? It's just like a hitter. Once they figure out you like the high inside heat, can you adjust to getting the slider down and away and going the other way with it? That's what it's going to come down to.
Well, Saints fans don't want to run it back with Jameis Winston.
Nope.
That experience has run its course. You could run it back with Andy Dalton, but I think Derek Carr is a better option. Saints fans, do you really want to run it with a rookie quarterback not named C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, because you're not getting either one of them because you've already botched the picks with the Eagles. So, there was talk about going out and getting Lamar Jackson, but to that point, if you're going to pay Derek Carr $150 million, you'd have to pay Lamar Jackson $250 million, who's coming off back-to-back season injuries. Let Derek Carr go in and throw it to some of these weapons you have. See what happens.
Yeah, and this is why I thought the Saints didn't get enough for Sean Payton. This was my whole thing. Like, you could maybe move up and get that pick. Or do a 3-team where you can, with the Broncos, where you can move up and go get that quarterback. Like, that's why I feel like the Saints just felt like, all right, we feel like it's good enough. All right, this deal's good enough. We just want to be done with this. We don't want to be tied to Sean Payton anymore instead of using it to help you start that super-duper rebuild. Kind of like the Braves did. I don't think it was smart.
All right, Bradley Cogdale, he wants to know, all caps, someone please explain the franchise tag to me. Okay, so the franchise tag, I got it right here. The franchise tag is a designation a team may apply to a player scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent. The tag binds a player to the team for 1 year. If certain conditions are met, each team has one franchise tag and one transition tag per year.
And that's the exclusive, right?
Yes.
And you have a non-exclusive tag.
Correct.
Which then will allow a team allows a player to go out and try and get a contract from another team. If they offer him, they have to, and the team that the player is currently with doesn't want to match, the team who's accepting the player has to give up 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, and when you tag somebody, you're going to meet those conditions because you want to keep that person. It's kind of like a saving grace. That's why it's so important on who you franchise tag to maybe get you through that year to get to another contract or things like that. So the franchise tag, if you use it right, it is a weapon. We've seen this many, many times in the league.
All right, let's go to Michael McMichelson.
Oh, wow. Is that the brother of Ron McRonaldson?
No, it's not, and how dare you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's go to #Ask Crane & Company. How do you feel about the Bengals drafting Gibbs or Darnell Washington in the first? I like the idea of no elite O-line prospects are available.
I still think you need offensive line prospects.
Yeah, I think so too. And Hayden Hurst is a good tight end.
I mean, yeah, I don't think you go grab a Darnell Washington. I mean, I think I tell you what, I know they're saying there's not elite, like a ton, as many as elite offensive linemen as we had last year with like Egbuka and Cross and all those guys. Basically half Alabama's offensive line. But there are good players out there that the Bengals, they don't all have to be elite coming through the combine. The Bengals need good, solid players. You need depth. You need to create competition. If you feel like going through free agency, you're not going to be able to get the guys that give Joe Burrow the best chance to win, who's still on his rookie contract, go get some young guys. It just would be so hard for me as the Bengals to look around and be like, most glaring problem we have, let's go get a tight end. Like, I don't know. I feel like you're almost cornered to get an offensive line.
If it's me, I'm flipping it. All right, you got the 28th pick. Let's go D-line. Let's go D-line. I'm going Brian Breesy out of Clemson.
I mean, look, again, I don't think you'd be wrong going anywhere up front, but I'm a lot more worried about the Bengals offensive line than the defensive line, especially because you got that one white Australian that doesn't wear sleeves. I always trust the defensive lineman does that.
All right, let's go to Matty Ice, 1994, also known as Nighthawk.
Okay.
If y'all remember yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he called in.
It's Nighthawk. All right, so who's the first receiver off the board and who's the first cornerback off the board? Homeboy from Oregon, I guess, is looking good at cornerback.
Christian Gonzalez?
Yeah, I think Gonzalez can be the first one off, and then he said, who's the first wide receiver?
Receiver.
I think it's going to be
Quentin Johnston?
Quentin Johnston, especially since Jordan ran that 4.5. I just think you look at Quentin. I know Quentin didn't run. I know people are talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know he looks really, really good on air, which we know he looks good off air too. I think Quentin Johnston. I just think he's that type of receiver.
Yeah, I think you can go the kid from Illinois is good too. Witherspoon, the DB, the corner.
Yeah,
He's extremely good.
I like
So it's
him.
gonna be
It's
between him or
Gonzalez and
or
Joey
Gonzalez.
Porter. I still think Joey Porter Jr., man.
The length.
Give me the
Ringo's
length,
nice too, but the length of
Ringo,
Joey
look,
Porter
man,
Jr.
Ringo's really fast, straight line. I worry about Ringo in man coverage. I really worry about Ringo in man coverage in the NFL. I think it's like I told Rusty Manziel. I think he's a nickel. I think he's a nickel or a safety.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. All right, let's go to Noah Schultz. What's up, Noah? Says Trey Wingo reported per sources that Rodgers has had conversations with the Jets. The Rodgers watch is starting to heat up.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Look, Aaron goes to the Jets with that defense. Garrett Wilson, nice piece.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Moore, maybe you'll stop crying and complaining now. You go get one more piece on the outside. Boys, Jets would be for real. We are going to actually, if that happens, I can't believe I'm going to say this. We are going to actually see a time in my life when the Giants and Jets are both pretty good. What does that look like?
I don't know.
I have no idea what that I know what
That'd
it
be
looks like
fun.
when the Giants are good and the Jets are bad. I know what it looks like when the Jets are pretty good, even with butt fumble Sanchez, and the Giants are bad. I don't know what it's like when both of them are good. It's like watching Auburn, Alabama be good in basketball both at the same time. It's like I'm that, oh boy, what's his name? Adrian Bruner, that new movie where they accidentally land on Earth 65 million years ago. Look, I'm out here seeing stuff for the first time. That's a T-Rex. I'm horrified. I'm outie. But at least I'm seeing it for the first time. It's a brand new world. I think that's Aladdin.
Okay, let's go back to Michael McMichelson. He wants to know, how badly did Butte hurt his draft stock?
Badly.
Can you remember a player with a fall this drastic?
There's always guys that fall. Voorhees tore his ACL running the 40. That's never good.
Why? Offensive linemen shouldn't have to run.
No, it's ridiculous.
Like, they don't do that.
I need to do the
ridiculous.
pass set.
They don't run. Like, you're getting people hurt.
It's like linebackers. Why? If you got to run 40 yards to catch somebody, I don't want you. Here's my thing with Booty. You can't test bad and be a problem off the field. And not be huge. You have all three. It's not good. That's not good. We were never super excited in recruiting. We were like, man, that guy's slow, but he sure is an off the field problem. That was never a good thing. That was never a good thing. So badly. Hurt it badly.
All right, Jimbo Eagle says, in a matter of a month, the Pelicans went from a 2 seed to the 12 seed. My God.
Yeah. The Pelicans, say, fell off that post. Another way to put it.
All right, let's go to Matty Ass 1994. He says his Kings are now half game back from the 2 seed.
Yep.
They're taking advantage of this Ja Morant situation.
Yeah, Ja Morant. We talked about it every day. What are you doing? Good. And the Kings are good? What's going on?
So now Ja's out indefinitely, right? Yesterday we reported it was a 2-game suspension.
Is he out indefinitely?
I saw they were looking into a gun charge in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I saw. Let's see if there's an update here. No, do you see Giannis gave himself that extra rebound?
Yeah.
To get the triple double, and they're like, no. Why not? It's a rebound, dog. What do you mean? It should count.
They said the league looked at it and said, you have to be trying to make a shot for.
How do you know I'm not trying to make it? How do you know?
I don't know.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Look, man can be a woman, woman be a man. How do you know it's not a rebound? What is a rebound? You know my intentions? Here are my intentions right now, though. The Board of Justice and Friendship. ULL. That's right. That's what I called them. They'll never be UL to me. I still get people DM me about that on Twitter. They'd be like, it's University of Louisiana. No, it's not. It's University of Louisiana in Lafayette. Here's what I got tonight. Give me Zags and St. Mary's. Yes, I do got to make a comment about yesterday watching the St. Mary's game. They're playing BYU.
Mm-hmm.
And like Randy Bennett's one of the winningest coaches of all time in like college basketball at St. Mary's. He's been doing it for like 300 years. He looks like Fester from the Addams Family. And they play a very slow style. It's how St. Mary's has always played, and they've won a ton of games. I'm watching these announcers. St. Mary's went up-tempo for like 2 minutes and hit a couple shots. So these announcers like, they should just play that way. They should just play that way. Change your whole identity that Randy Bennett's done for 30 years at St. Mary's that has made St. Mary's legitimate, but 2 minutes of good ball going fast, and the announcers want them just to totally change the way they play offense. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's why they're
That's amazing. The arrogance of that statement was amazing to me, but I'm never shocked. So tonight, Zags, St. Mary's, over 140. That's right. Let's get some points. Smell like a 76-71 Gonzaga win. I think Gonzaga's a 14-point favorite, too. Then, Cleveland State versus Northern Kentucky, over 127. Cleveland State has a guy named Tay Williams, who's nicknamed Spider. Oh, my God.
Did we hear anything about the kid from who's breaking the scoring record in college?
Yeah, so he's at Detroit Mercy, Antoine Davis. He's 3 points shy of Pete Maravich's record, and they are not eligible for the NCAA tournament or for the NIT. They have a sub-500 record, but there is another
CBI.
postseason tournament, the CBI, which could potentially extend Detroit Mercy an invitation, and we will know, I believe, by March 12th.
Do it.
Do you want to know how?
Do it.
You know, whenever coaches say, hey, man, we're a team. It's not about one player. You want to know how it's about one player? When the only reason you may get a postseason invite is so that one player can break the scoring record.
Well, it's his dad. His dad's the coach.
Yeah, Mike Davis, who was at Indiana, by the way. Also, on that note, I don't consider that breaking the record. Pete Maravich didn't have a three-pointer, and there was no shot clock.
And he played fewer seasons.
And he played, yeah.
And fewer games.
Pete must have just been scoring at
almost
insane
half
rate.
his man. Like he averaged over 40 points. He averaged over 40 points a season all 3 seasons.
I don't care if you are playing a bunch of Beaver Cleavers. Good God.
That's tough.
That's a lot.
That's tough.
You could get 6 midgets around here, and I couldn't score 40 points a game.
Well, there's 2 kids. There's 2 brothers right now in high school that are averaging 50 a game.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Where are they going? Kentucky?
I don't know.
Probably.
Probably St. Mary's.
Probably Kentucky to make it to the Sweet 16. Anyways, all right. Coney, what do you got today?
All right, I'm going to take the, first of all, shout out to Gonzaga yesterday covering for me. Preds, we got to have a conversation. But today, all hockey slate, I'm going to go Maple Leafs. I believe they're on the road. That's plus 110. And then I'm going to take a 3-game parlay here. Kraken, Avs, and Lightning at plus 135. It's hard to get 3 hockey teams to all win in the same night, but let's see what happens.
Well, look, I had someone on my Twitter feed yesterday telling me that the Flames were definitely not going to win. It was a terrible bet, and surprise, surprise, they won.
Yeah,
So,
just have that.
who's the dummy now?
Yeah.
Canucks? I knew you'd beat the Predators because the Predators.
I love how you call them Canucks, like off documentary now.
Yeah, whatever.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's what he's
Tomato,
calling
tomato.
them.
Tomato,
Canucks.
tomato. But you think you can't get an extra goal? I take you minus 1.5 plus 210. I can't get an empty netter, and you win 4-3.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. Give me the Bucks Nets. Bless you, David.
Thank you.
Minus 110, both money line. And give me BC. Little tournament basketball today, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have college basketball coming on at 1 o'clock today, and guess what? It's our job to cover sports, so I'm going to be
It's
watching
a win-win.
it, baby.
Win-win. Give me BC minus 5.5. That's going off at minus 120.
You want to know why? You want to know why, Cone? Because that non-early morning basketball watching is out of here, baby. I'm saying it every day. All right, baby Cone. He wants the Islanders minus 165 and the Blues minus 135. So if you're going to be sat on an island, there's your matchup.
All right. Butcher Club.
Yep.
Cal Kenny, who's here? Yeah. Says, can you further explain what you mean by the Chiefs' modified run game? Is it a difference in concepts or assignments?
Well, so modified run game conceptually, it's basically quick game in the passing game, but you have different concepts and ways to get the ball closer to the line of scrimmage quicker instead of just handing it off, right? Bubble screens, things of that nature. I'm not even talking about now screens or anything like that. I'm talking about true bubbles, just spitting the ball out, things that if you're not able to run the ball, you're not having to run true drop back the whole game where they can pin their ears back and go get the quarterback and know, hey, it's 3-step. Oh, it's 5-step. Oh, it's 7-step. It's basically, what you see with the tight end, running the ghost split or split play action off split zone. It's the passing game that is around the line of scrimmage that is quick, that when it's 1st and 10 and you're running power and you're getting nowhere the whole game, you can just, here we go, downset hut, I like it, spit it out, get into 2nd and 6. That's what a modified run game is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to Fat Dad. All right, I think you look great. So who wins in a fight?
Skinny mom.
A gorilla or a grizzly? It's been the age-old question.
Grizzly.
I'm going grizzly.
What if you give the gorilla 3 months of training?
Okay, what if you give the bear cocaine and make a movie about it?
What if for 3 months
I'm still
you
haunted.
fed the bear cocaine while you train?
I'm still haunted by that movie. I still think a bear's going to break into my apartment on the 4th floor somehow. I don't know how. Poison Alley says, Blaine, you were in my dreams. We were both on a train. Well, it was weird.
Hope you weren't in Ohio.
Savo says, should Jameis Winston look to reunite with Sean Payton in Denver?
I think Sean Payton's like, hell no. I don't think it's Jameis Winston's decision. I think Sean Payton's like, oh yeah, hey Don, what's up? Oh, Jameis wants in. Yeah, no. Like, it's no way. I already have to deal with Russell Wilson if I'm Sean Payton. I already got to fix this guy, okay? The fakest of the fake. I don't want to have to deal with Jameis Winston over here doing crazy stuff. It's like, oh man, Jameis pulled his pants down in the cafeteria again. Like, I'm not dealing with that. Well, I got Russell Wilson over here doing high knees on the plane.
Well, we played Jameis in high school and we whipped him up a little bit. 28-3.
Really?
28-3. They didn't score.
Wow.
Corey Sohn says, what's up, Corey? He says, hating on the Jags next year, and they're going to be scary. I'm telling you.
They are.
Tell them, if you want me to put some money on little futures.
For what? Future for
Jags,
what?
Super Bowl champs.
What?
Jags next year?
Super
Clip
Bowl
that.
champs.
You want to see an in them?
Evan Ingram, looking good.
Clip that
Trevor,
one.
another year with old Dougie P back there. What are we doing in the draft? Maybe Darnell Washington's ad? I'm telling you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Telling
you're in the same division with the Texans, the Colts, and the Titans. So right now, I mean, getting to the playoffs seems like pretty
Looking
easy
good.
task.
Matty Ice 1994, also known as Nighthawk. Blaine, you got to try F1 Fantasy. There's an F1 Fantasy?
Wow, let's get on that.
Look, it's my first time doing it. I'm already addicted. It's the same concept of fantasy football on DraftKings, sort of. Look, I said this the other day on the show.
Well, that's
the first time I've
bet
actually, I went to Mississippi to see some family. My uncle watches F1. He turned it on. I was on lap 40 of 57, and I enjoyed watching
Who won the
rest
race?
of that
Who
race.
won it?
Red Bull.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah. Red
Okay,
Bull won.
again, you want to know how to win fantasy?
But Ashton
in F1?
Martin looked
You
phenomenal.
wanna know the easiest way to
Ashton
win?
Martin looked phenomenal. Ferrari still blowing it when it counts. So, I mean,
Well, here's my thing. F1 Fantasy is the easiest fantasy to win. I would just put money on it. All three of guys who always win. 1 to 3.
Well, again, I'm sure if it's the concept like football, you have to take different guys. Was it a snake draft or something?
I don't know. I'd have to look into it. But I'm all for fantasy. Like, the only fantasy I really don't like doing is baseball. It's just too much. It's just too much. I don't want to go find middle relievers and stuff like that. But other than that,
Well,
I like
look,
doing all fantasies.
Look,
Especially
if you're scared of putting in the hard
Make sure you
work,
use our
stay out of the
booster
baseball
code at DraftKings.
Yep.
Let's go to Trav Die 347 says, y'all got to start doing the quote right. It's out of here, mister, not out of here, baby.
I like doing it the way that I remember it in my mind. It is a great quote, though. By the way, did you see the Tony Perkis shout out in the Open? You like that? And his father, the lighting king, Richard Perkis,
I know.
I think.
Let's go to Texas said. What's up, Texas? He said, college doesn't produce O-line prospects because the spread offense doesn't develop them as much. So O-line really is only taught at the NFL level. Hot take.
Well, it depends on where you're at. I mean, a lot of colleges run the pro style, but if you look in the NFL with RPOs and things now, the versatility that an offensive lineman has to be able to have, even though the offenses are more similar in the NFL than in college, a lot of it is still the base fundamental stuff. I mean, again, just like in any business, the higher you go, the more techniques you learn and the better you get and the more experience you get. So you're not wrong. The best teaching of the offensive line happens in the NFL, but there are places in college that teach it very similarly to what you see in the NFL because the systems are similar. But let's not fall in the trap of thinking all the NFL does is just the same stuff and there's no evolution. What we've seen with the RPO game, what we've seen with the quick game, what we've seen with the development of the quarterback from a dual threat standpoint and how that's bled into RPOs and things like that, that happens at the NFL level. So it's not just the old ball and chain offense anymore in the NFL. Look what the Chiefs are doing. Hell, they got guys in a circle doing a snow globe before they snap the ball.
And the Rams, too.
And the Rams, I mean,
last season.
You look at what you have now, it's not just motions and formations anymore. There's a lot more going on.
Ooh, speaking of the Rams, the North Face guy says, what does Sean McVay have to do to make it back to the playoffs / Super Bowl?
Get that offensive line fixed.
Yeah, look, it comes down to up front. I mean, you losing Stafford this past season obviously had a big effect, but even if you put Matt Stafford on that team this past year, I don't think they win a Super Bowl. I don't even think they sniff it. Losing guys like Andrew Whitworth and having question marks from guys like Aaron Donald, because best believe that Rams defense knew at least halfway through the year, probably even before the year, or once Stafford went down, that they were screwed. There's no way that they were winning it because they had no other answer.
No Cooper Kupp.
No Cooper Kupp. If that offensive line isn't fixed, it doesn't matter. That's what it's going to come down to.
I think they started 14 different offensive linemen throughout the season.
They had more combinations.
Come on, man.
Than
That's tough.
Sonic.
That's tough.
All right, let's go to Baby Sawyer's dad. She says, did y'all hear Kirk Cousins is going to the Texans?
No, I did not.
Well, I don't know if y'all saw this on Twitter, but the Vikings GM came out during the combine and said that when Anthony Richardson, they're on a little muddle huddle doing little interviews, he said that Anthony Richardson's a better thrower coming out of college than Cam Newton. And I looked and pointed and laughed.
Yeah, see, now I can't take anything you say seriously.
We
Because
gotta
I've
stop
watched
this,
both
man.
of them.
We have to stop.
Like,
This
if
guy won a
anybody's
Heisman
big and
Trophy, a
fast-
national championship, an
Yeah.
MVP, played in the Super Bowl.
Cam Newton never lost a game.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Anthony Richardson barely won games in college. And that's not to say Anthony Richardson doesn't have a chance to be good. He does. Just because somebody is big and super fast doesn't mean they're automatically exactly like the best big super fast person we've seen. Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's like saying, oh man, wow, that guy's 6'6" and he runs 4.5. It's like, man, he's Usain Bolt. No, he's not. Usain Bolt ran like a 3.8.
Anthony Richardson is not close to Cam Newton.
No.
It's not close. And I'm sick of the comp. I get it when it comes to height and speed, stuff like that. But you go watch what Cam Newton did in college. Go look at the team Cam was playing on.
I'm going to say
no one went to the league other than one person who got drafted in the 6th round.
KJ Jefferson is more like Cam
Nick.
Newton than Anthony Richardson is. I'll say it.
I'll
take KJ
I'd
Jefferson.
agree with
I'll
that.
take KJ Jefferson over Anthony Richardson every day of the week.
If we're taking comp-wise, I'm not saying KJ's better than Anthony Richardson. I'm saying
I think
comp-wise, I think KJ's a better comp to Cam
Their styles.
than the style, the way they
that's
play.
fair.
Let's go to Wyoming. Crane & Co. Love that badge, by the way. Looking great.
Need to get
Just got here. Sorry. Never apologize. It's okay. We're in the trust tree.
Wyoming never apologized.
What are my Ducks in the Pac-12 / Pac-10 doing with the TV deal? Sorry if you already talked about this. Hey, you're not coming here to apologize.
No, you don't come in here and apologize
Look,
for
say
being
it with
late
your
or
chest,
asking
big dog.
questions
With that
about
badge, you don't apologize for nothing.
Yeah, you get that Jake badge.
Get
you'll
that
never
David
have to
badge.
apologize
It's green.
again.
It's green.
Here's what it comes down with Oregon. I love how we're back to already calling it the Pac-10. Because you have to. Like, they're gone.
I don't know. The Big Ten's had more than 10 teams for years.
That's true. I
Since I
don't
was
know
in it.
why we can't why we can't nail this down.
Well, that's the problem. If you tie your conference to numbers, those numbers are always going to change. If you tie your conference to geography, now geography doesn't matter. So it's like, what are you going to do?
It's going to be like, hey, this is our conference, Earth.
And then the Big Ten try to do leaders and legends in the
That was the
divisions.
worst.
Nah, get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we should just be like, just do it for colors.
Hey, we're the ESPN conference.
When it comes down to the media rights, I mean, if you're the Pac-12 right now, you're kind of the last one. This is what I said. It's like going to prom, and you don't have a date, which I don't know what that's like, but I'm sure it sucks.
you never
and
had a date.
I did. Now, I stopped believing.
I went to prom all 4 years of high school.
I stopped believing
Did
in
you?
imaginary people 3 years ago, so I guess it just depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
But it's like going to prom and you don't have a date, and all of a sudden that slow dance comes on, and you look over to the left, and oh man, there's SEC. Oh, they're meeting up with ESPN again. Here they go. Oh, they're smooching. And all of a sudden you look to the other side. There goes Big Ten. What? Just grab Fox's hands, man. This is gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot.
I'm getting hella uncomfortable in here.
Then,
right now, don't you know?
then
You pat
Then
it.
you got,
You
you got
massage
the
it.
Pac-12 over there who just looking, just scraping the barrel. Who's
The Pac-12's a kid.
Is it
sitting
gonna
on
be
a-
Heavy
waiting
Nancy?
For a dance.
Do I gotta go get Apple Plus hanging out over there by the punch bowl and croissants? Like
Look.
sometimes it's got to be an amalgamation. Maybe you have to go dance with Apple Plus, who may not be the best looking.
Yeah,
But
you
then
got-
Amazon's over there, rolling up, not looking as good as maybe Fox or ESPN.
Amazon. It's not a good story.
Yeah, Amazon's not good. And then you got ESPN's sister over there, who's Deese.
You got CW. They signed LIV,
Yeah.
Very legitimate
really
operation.
All right. Quickly. One thing. Zach Wilson says, I'm mad they're trying to make David Michigan evil in the newest comics.
That is
David
bad.
Ohio, get out of here.
No, it's
we're
yeah.
not.
You seen his arch rival?
They can try whatever they like. Only a hero will save us.
All right, poll.
Oh,
How many games do you think the Saints win? More than 8? Less than 8?
How about right at 8? That's not an option.
Nope.
how about you let me see the roster before I'm guessing what the Saints are going to do 8 years from now?
How about more than 8?
We don't
I'll
even know
go
the
more than 8.
schedule. The schedules aren't even.
Well, you know they're going to play
answer the poll.
All will
Falcons.
say
They're going to
okay.
play Falcons, Panthers, and Bucks.
They'll win
twice.
8 or more. They'll win 8 or more. They'll make the playoffs.
I get percentages. We do this every day.
More than 8,
Oh, I forgot.
55%.
Is 8 an option or is it more or less? I'm sorry.
It's more or less.
I just feel like 8, like even should be an option. Like that, the pulse questions.
Wait, is exactly 8 an
Dude, I'm
option?
telling you, I'm going to smash this iPad if you don't answer this.
Give me, what'd you say, more?
Yeah, 55%.
Give me more, 56%.
Ooh, more 58.
Oh,
It's
it's a dub.
42%.
It's a dub. It would also be a
Make
dub.
sure y'all hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button,
Subscribe,
hit
y'all.
that subscribe button as well. Appreciate you. Chat sounded hot today. Sounded super
Yeah,
hot.
that's my bad on the poll. I should have 8 as an option. I'll take the heat for that.
Yeah, we're
Made it more
bringing a
interesting.
Playbook.
You just had me turn that playbook?
Yeah, like
Why
that.
don't you bring your playbook?
Yeah, how did you bring all 3 of your playbooks? We appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow us on all social media. I got a great show tomorrow. Remember, this stays on YouTube the whole time. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button as well. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the Daily Wire. Daily Wire Plus, go check it out. Got a great team over there. And we obviously love working here. They actually let us say what we want to say. And we sell chocolate now.
We
We're
do.
a chocolate company, too.
We do.
Pretty good. It's Willy Wonka. I'll wear a top hat and a cane any day. And like the chances of Derek Carr taking the Saints to the Super Bowl, we're going, gone.